Hello and welcome everybody to another day of the Mineski Pro Gaming League Season number 6, sponsored by SteelSeries, Gigabyte, ViewSonic, as well as the Secret Shop Philippines. It is Group A. Everybody is playing everybody in a 2-game series. The top 2 will advance to the playoffs. It's going to be Titan versus Click and Search to begin the day. Of course, we're HeflaTV, the English coverage for the group stages. My name is Coucher and I am joined by Blackadder.
Good morning or afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. And it seems we're straight away off to what will be an aggressive push from Click and Search. They picked up the Lycan.
I have to say I'm a little bit surprised that the Shadow Shaman wasn't the second pick here, taking a Viper instead. Of course, having a hero that is a natural mech builder is always good if you want to go for the aggressive style. But Titan, they actually didn't think twice about their picks. It was like almost immediate Enchantress Invoker pick for them.
Indeed, and this is, in my mind, going to be quite scary coming out of Titan. I mean, the lineup of Titan speaks for itself, not underestimating Click and Search by any stretch of the imagination, but we know these guys, and we know what they're capable of, so this should be something good out of Titan, certainly. But on the topic of the Viper for Click and Search, I honestly like the fact that I picked up the Viper so early. It means I've got the natural mech carrier, as you mentioned. It's a hero that can brawl a little better, does decently well against the Invoker, and most importantly can deal with the Enchantress as well. Whereas if we were to look for the Shadow Shaman immediately, then that would open the pool up for Titan just to ban out the Viper, ban out some more targeted bans like the Tide, which we saw removed, as well as that Rubik.
Yeah, it definitely would. And actually, Titan, they go for his center now, Click and Search, picking up an Earthshaker. Man, what is this? This draft is just going by us so damn fast. Usually, at least at the second phase of the picking, teams slow down a little bit, but they show no signs of it at all.
No, they know exactly what they want to do, and we get the Centaur War Runner as well as the Skywrath Mage for the second pick phase of Titan. And if we then look at this, we've got Skywrath Mage who's going to be rotating around the map, most likely in a 5 role, considering we have the Enchantress on the battlefield. We've got the offlane Centaur, we've got the mid lane Invoker. We're just looking for a carry of some way, shape, or form for Titan, and in my mind, we could be looking for any with a decent stun. I mean, Alchemist, Chaos Knight, all of these would quite fit their strategy at this point. Would give them something to lane up well with that Skywrath. I mean, not discounting any of the agility picks that they could go for, but I think we're looking for a strength carry in this one, just based on the lineup of Click and Search. If you go for an agility carry against maybe the Lycan, with the exception of Morphling, because of how tanky he can become, you'll generally get chewed apart by the Lycan. Same for the Viper. The higher the HP, the tankier carry you can go for is generally better against these two. But we do get the Earthshaker and the Ancient Apparition for Click and Search, and honestly, I like this greatly. You've got AA, can hit those Ice Blasts, cause all manner of problems for the Centaur, the Skywrath, as well as the Earthshaker, who can hit those pinpoint Echo Slams. And when you've got an Enchantress and an Invoker, that's Forge Spirits, as well as the Enchantress minions to add to the Echo Slam.
Yeah, and not only that, just the Ice Blast works reasonably well against Enchantress as well, makes it so that Nature's Attendance actually doesn't heal anything. And the same with maybe the Quasp Balls of the Invoker. It's actually some pretty good regeneration once you have a couple points into it. And of course, just a poke from a Fisher into Ice Blast is so damn sick already, but Titan now, when you were talking about some tanky carries for them, I definitely wouldn't mind an Alchemist, although Ice Blast will negate the effects of the ultimate, just healing him up. So what other possibilities could they go for here? I mean, they most likely want something that can actually fight early on, with the nature of the rest of the 4 heroes they have already.
Well, it comes to mind, it's highly unlikely, but they could pick up the Juggernaut. Morphling is still available, so that is an option for them, and we do know Titan like their Morphling, so that's a possibility as well. However, strength hero-wise, we could see the Bristleback. It would give them something that gives them chasing power. We've all seen the amount of damage a Bristle can do, and he's naturally tanky up against the Viper and the Lycan. And other than that, unlikely as well, but fringe pick would be Chaos Knight in my mind, just because of the extra stun.
Well, stuns are never bad things to actually have in your team. I mean, I think we discussed it with you as well. It's like, no team is ever going to be like, guys, we have too much stun, screw this man, we screwed up the draft.
Sounds familiar. I mean, stuns are always nice, but you've considered Titan's lineup right now. They've got stuns, they've got silences, they have mana control with the Invoker should he go for the EMP build, or they've got pushing power across the board between Forge Spirits and the Enchantress. The lineup of Titan is very flexible, and they also have the chasing power of the Stampede. Whereas on the flip side of the coin for Click and Search, they've got a mediocre slow coming out of the AA, and we go for a Klink's last pick. But we've also got stun out of Earthshaker, well, stuns, plural, out of Earthshaker, and then we've just got slows from the Viper. But Clinks and Ember Spirit for the last two, so this should be an interesting one. Clinks brings a good amount of damage potential for Titan. I'm going to be expecting Blink Dagger Clinks out of Titan, in all honesty, because I have a feeling that's a Mushi Clinks. Yeah, there we go, Mushi Clinks. That's going to be a Blink Dagger aggressive Clinks. Maybe look for an Orchid at some point, but Blink is his usual first item on that hero. And we do have, finally, for Click and Search, the Ember Spirit. And I'm honestly not sure if I like the Ember Spirit in this draft, considering what kills Ember Spirit quicker than anything? Silences and physical damage. You lock down the Ember Spirit with a silence, Skywrath Mage perhaps, or, say, Orchid on the Clinks, and then you have high physical damage to finish him off. Clinks.
Yeah, it's definitely scary if you're Ember Spirit at the moment. You have to kind of try to shut down the Clinks at the very least, because like I said, silence completely wrecks Ember Spirits. Of course, Earthshaker, if he's spot on with his positioning, with his fissures, can potentially still save the Ember, but that's something that you usually would not like to rely on 100%. And one thing that with the Ember, I guess, is that you send an Ice Blast flying if you're CNS, and suddenly Embers comes in just with a Fire Remnant, Searing Chains up, make sure the Ice Blast connects, and try to set up global kills like that. But actually, they smoke up as 4 men at the moment, not even having the Lycan with them, but Lycan, he can help with the Howl. Do you think this is a smart decision though?
Well, we consider Howl at level 1. That's another 14 damage for each of these heroes. They have Chilling Touch as well. They have quite a bit of staggering level 1 damage, plus Fissure, plus the slow potentially coming out of Viper. So they have the level 1 power to fight up against Titan. I mean, Invoker, not exactly the best level 1 hero, if you get my drift, but I reckon they can potentially get something in the jungle here.
Yeah, Enchantress really doesn't help too much either, plus it's pretty squishy, and they're gonna go to the high ground. Can they get the Fissure or enough slows? Does not look like it. Chilling Touch even came out, so they... I mean, it was a little bit hard. Titan, of course, they have pretty nice positioning as well. Just as they saw somebody on the high ground, they had ample space to just back off.
They needed, in all honesty, a slightly better position coming out of the Earthshaker. I mean, if Earthshaker came up and stood here, he could immediately block this line, which he would have had enough time to do just. There maybe have got 1 kill, but unfortunately nothing off the back of this smoke. And I suppose of this slightly interesting before the horn, we should probably introduce the players, considering.
Yes, we should indeed. So, for CNS, for Click and Search on the Radiant side, for the Philippine team, Polo is my name, Polo, playing the Lycan, with Jules up on the Ember Spirit mid lane and leaving an aggressive tri-lanes by the looks of it. Heart on the Earthshaker, Yamaguchi to play the Viper, and Poxy is the last one on the Ancient Apparition.
And on the flip side of that coin, for Team Titan, we have X playing the Enchantress. And he's going to be, ooh, this could be an aggressive jungle Enchantress. This could be very interesting. I like this kind of play. You can come onto the lane and destroy the safe lane. Then again, it is a safe lane solo in this one, but it's still a Lycan. We've got Ohio on the Centaur Warrunner, going to be going toe-to-toe with Lycan, and this should be a decent lane for him, in all honesty. I can see him doing fairly well up here. But over in the mid lane, we've got KYXY on the Invoker. One of his signature heroes, and I think we're going to be in for something special with that. And finally, rounding out the team, we do have Mushi on the Clinks, and I believe we have one extra somewhere. We have the Skywrath Mage being played by WTF, who's lurking in the enemy jungle with X. And this could be First Blood. They're going to drop the concussive shot. Do they have enough damage? That's my question, especially with the Hellbear Smasher. In comes the Sunstrike, it's level 1, of course, but the right clicks are more than enough, and First Blood goes the way of WTF on the Skywrath Mage.
That was extremely well executed by them. I was a little bit skeptical. I thought Ember Spirit might get enough distance, but Concussive Shot into the Thunderclap of Extin's Hellbear Smasher. Just excellent rotations. Clinks, I mean, he came in with like, what, 2 right clicks there as well, but every little helped out. And that's just the power of an Enchantress or HN. You will have the creep to just tank up the tower hits for you, so you can actually dive rather aggressively early.
Yeah, well, this is, as you mentioned, the strength of the Enchantress, being able to dive like that. I mean, you consider Hellbear Smasher, you consider the potential of a Centaur Conqueror or a Dark Troll Warlord. All of these creeps are incredibly powerful, especially when you're going up against mid lane when the Ember Spirit does not have his ultimate, does not have that mobility. You lock him down, you kill him dead. It is the perfect way to deal with a Ember Spirit. And it does help give this slight little gold lead to Titan in the early game. They get the First Blood. Mushi's rotating back up to the top lane with 7 tangos, so he's going to be ready for any kind of shenanigans coming out of CNS. And from where we sit, I think this could be a very comfortable game for Titan, because One thing I will point out, during the early game, during the pre-game, we didn't really go over the last formality. What are you betting on? Which team have your cheese in this case?
Well, I would have probably said CNS even, possibly, but now that the first blood came out and seeing the laning situation, it might be different, but just based on lineup, I'll go with CNS.
Just based on lineup, you're saying CNS? Okay, I can understand that. The lineup for CNS is fairly decent. The one thing that I'm not sure about is the Ember Spirit, as I said in the pre-game, and I'm honestly surprised we see the Ember. I mean, it's odd. It doesn't fit the lineup in my mind for CNS, but for Titan, their draft has a goal. It has a purpose. They know what they're doing. They've got team fight. I'm going to put my money on Titan. I'm going to put my money on what will be the favorite in my mind for this game, but my money is going on Titan.
It's just, at the moment as well, Ohio, being in the lane that he is solo up against Lycan, will WTF him and helping out a little bit. Just the fast blink dagger on center, I think, is going to be key overall to what Titan wants to do with their early aggression, and just get that blink stun to follow up with the right clicks of Clinks, since they actually don't have too much lockdown on top of it. But Jules in trouble mid lane once again. The center comes in. The Warstomp actually connects as well in Ember Spirit. Still only level 1 into the Flame Guard, and it's not going to be enough to physical damage. The Sunstrike, will it actually land? Yes, it will. KYXY picks up another kill for their team. And man, this is such a bad start. And not only that, Ember Spirit, he actually lacked mana for a TP the first time he died. So he missed out on a lot of XP. He is level 2, almost about to hit level 3, whereas KYXY already level 4.5.
Indeed, and I'm honestly surprised to see the Sunstrike was enough to get the kill there, considering there was 50 damage absorption on Jules, for one, and for two, it was only a level 2 Sunstrike, so correct me if I'm wrong, but a level 2 Sunstrike minus that 50, and now we're going another go on Jules. He gets the cold snap, in comes the rotation, Sunstrike's going to drop again. Do they have enough? With Mushi there, maybe, but in come all the TPs. Boxy is in the mix now. They're going to try to focus KYXY. The Fissure is there, and they're going to actually get the Invoker here of KYXY. Can they bring Mushi down? I don't think so. He's going to be too quick with that skeleton walk, and I believe he's fine.
Yeah, the sentry kind of wasted him just a little bit there, but CNS, nice rotations finally coming in, and Jules just barely managing to dodge the Sunstrike made a difference there. Otherwise 100% dead, but he was literally like 1 foot away from getting hit by it, so nice turnaround at the moment. Getting a kill onto KYXY was pretty damn important, since he was more or less having his way in the lane otherwise.
I'll completely agree with you there. They need to deal with the Invoker of KYXY. It's a scary hero and one of his specialists.
Polo in some trouble. Extinct found him together with WTF. They're gonna slow him down, but now the Fissure comes out and everybody's blocked. So Polo, he's gonna be fine, but a safe lane Lycan, you're expecting him to get farm, which just isn't happening all that much at the moment.
No, not against an Enchantress aggressive and WTF on its Skywrath Mage. That's going to be very difficult for him to farm safely in, and that's how they need to deal with the Lycan. They keep the Lycan down early game. He may not get a Vlad's for a foreseeable future, and from there on in, it gives Team Titan the advantage, and it's that advantage they need to capitalize off of. But just going back to KYXY for a second, when he got that kill on Ember Spirit, that was a level 2 Sunstrike. That's only 160.5 damage. Minus 50 of that from the Ember Guard at that point in time. It's not a big Sunstrike, and it was still enough, so good control out of KYXY to know the limits of his hero and being able to take and kill the Ember like that.
Yeah, he's been playing pretty damn well, and like you said as well when we introduced the lineups, It is one of his signature heroes at the moment, so...
Top lane, smoke up. We could be looking for an initiation here, and Bogsy could be the target. In comes the Dark Troll Warlord out of the smoke, and are they safe on this one? No, Yamaguchi's going to be in a lot of trouble. Get silence. Sunstroke's going to drop as well. That should be more than enough, and Viper will take a fall off this one. WTF forced back by the cold feet, and now Bogsy's going to try to TP out. They don't have any other way of breaking the TP, so the one thing that... I was going to say, the one thing they're lacking... How the hell did that happen? Oh, we
just
got the...
Cold Snap, Forge Spirit, right clicks.
Yeah,
I mean, I caught like the last second of it or so, but... Man, this Ember Spirit is just a really sad one. All he has is his bottle, but I guess he has to be happy with that. Already died 3 times, almost 4 as well, as the rotations came in from CNS to just prevent that one death from happening, but... It's 4-1 Titan, and that's where they're most comfortable at as well. Early aggression, whenever they get just the Enchantress to roam around early, somehow always it works for them.
Well, Enchantress as a roamer is heavily underestimated. It's one of the better heroes, considering she has a powerful slow, she has the ability to grab creeps with powerful abilities. It adds up, it really does. But from where we sit right now, Titan, 1-4 kill advantage, doing very well for themselves. And I'm honestly surprised we haven't seen a few more rotations away from Heart for Click and Search. I mean, defensive Fisher, one of the best things at stopping aggression, could be useful in that mid lane, especially if he rotates down there. They could easily get a kill on KYXO with a good rotation, but we're seeing a very static tri-lane coming out of Click and Search.
Yeah, and in an aggressive trial, I'm not too sure how good it is to be static like this, since usually you need to be looking for kills. XP-wise, yes, they're actually not that far
good look
behind.
for kill, bot lane, Polo. I was wondering if we would see Ohio actually pop the Stampede for that. He could have. They could have brought down that Lycan, and Lycan still does not have Metamorphosis, so there would have been no escape from it.
And he's not scouting with the Wolves either, not running into the Dire Observer ward though, so Titan, they don't know where Polo is exactly until now. That I think they can dive this.
They could probably dive this, I think, especially with the Stampede. I mean, I'm surprised we've not seen it earlier, and at this point in, Polo cannot escape this, especially with that Sunstroke dropping. WTF will pick up another kill, and a lot of these kills have been going on to WTF, and he's been in range for the assist as well, so good early advantage for WTF, and I wouldn't be surprised to see early Arcane Boots into maybe a 4-star on that Skywrath.
Yeah, Arcane Boots possibly, or most definitely, I think, the first item pickup for him, but Ohio, he's picked up his Blink Dagger 7 minutes into the game on the Centaur. This is absolutely some sick amount of farm at the moment, especially considering his and the Lycan's farm 46 and 18 compared to 14 and 0.
Aye, that's going to be incredibly scary. And now you can see Polo, he's rotated to that top lane. He decided, yeah, I'm not getting no farm down there. I'm just going to go up top lane and we're just going to push instead. But where is the defense going to come from? I wouldn't be surprised to see TPs to the tier 2, especially now they pop the fortification. Mushi, he wants to try to fight this, but he can't at this point. He's got 1,500 gold. There's no way in hell he wants to get involved here. Maybe poke and prod a little bit, use his death pact, but he can't engage that head on.
Yeah, I mean, it would be utter suicide if he did at the moment. But looks like it's going to be a tier 1 for tier 1 by the end of it. CNS actually, without the Wolves being out, the push isn't all that fast, but they will take the tower down nonetheless. But Titan, they look to go on the aggressive, possibly into the mid lane again. Mushi, of course, or not Mushi, Jules, I mean. He has his remnants now. Does he actually have one behind? He sends one to the rune at the moment, but he doesn't have a defensive one behind the tower or anything.
No, he could be gone on here, but the pings are coming out from the rest of Click and Search. They want to rotate into the mid lane and potentially kill the Invoker. But the problem here is KYXY is playing so defensively, he's only coming forward when he knows he's got the support there for a kill in general, or when he knows that all the support on the enemy team are engaged elsewhere. And right now we see that 4-man rotation down. Polo, he's got one wolf providing good vision of his jungle so he doesn't get jumped, and it's keeping Ohio back, and equally it's keeping the Enchantress of X on point. And from here on in, we could be looking for a tier 2 push on this bottom lane while we have the full investment of heroes from Click and Search in the mid. Then again, Ohio now knows this. He's going to blink away, doesn't want to risk getting caught out. And we could be looking for an engagement here. You've got WTF, X, and Ohio up against an Earthshaker and Yamaguchi right now. Sure, you've got Bogsy in the back, but there's only so much a Ancient Apparition can do at this point. And Yamaguchi will just be hit back with a concussive shot. They don't really want to push this excessively, but this is still a win here for Titan. This Viper was not farming in that entire time when he was rotating from top all the way to the jungle. And while that's going on, KYXY continuing to farm up in the mid lane. On the top lane, you've got Mushi just doing his thing, and he's already got an Oblivion. So we're going to be looking for an Orchid. We're going straight Orchid on Mushi, and that's going to cause some big problems for Click and Search.
Yeah, most certainly is, and he's actually, or he does have a pretty good amount of last hits, I have to say, considering he was up against a tri-lane for the majority of the time there.
Indeed, now we've got another smoke in mid lane. We could have Yamaguchi wanting to fight this one, but smoke's going to be revealed. They're not going to get anything off the back of this one. Who revealed that smoke? I believe that could have been Ohio up on that jungle. I think he blinked away. And they could be looking to sandwich in here. They get the Centaur coming from the reverse angle with that Blink Dagger, with the Stampede, while you've got the engagement from the front by the other 4 members of Titan. Then again, it could just be 3 if Mushi decides that farm is a higher priority. He is doing very well. He's going to be getting that all-important Orchid in a few minutes' time. And while he's farming that Orchid, you've got to consider the Earthshaker, the Ancient Apparition, and Yamaguchi on that Viper are gaining nothing. We do get that Stampede pop now. What are they going on? They're going to bring down Polo once more, and the Sunsoak's going to drop. Not even necessary. The burst damage coming out of the Lycan as well as WTF is more than enough at this point. And when your Lycan is being destroyed at the 10-minute mark by Ohio and the rest of Titan, while your Viper is not farming well. It is really going to cause problems. I mean, we can see in terms of last hits and denies where the Viper stands. He's 3rd. We can see where the Lycan stands. He's 6th. This entire time, you've had KYXY farming, you've got the Centaur continuing to farm up, and Mushi doing his thing. You consider at 10 minutes, there is a 5,000 gold lead for Titan. There is a 5,000 experience lead for Titan. What do Click and Search need to do here to recover this?
Well, they do have the Lycan, although they're on the Radiant side, so sneaking Erosion won't be as easy, but just have the rest of the 4 heroes maybe trying to create something, some havoc on the map, and have just Lycan smoke into Roche Pit, for example. He does need either Medallion of Courage or Power Threads to be finished before that, I do believe, but something like that might be a small window just back into it. Actually, they are sentry warding at the moment, or trying to. Or it was the dire sentry there. KYXY, he gets another kill onto Jules. Just solo kills like this shouldn't be possible on an Ember Spirit, to be honest. You should always have a Remnant behind safely.
I'd agree, and you got to consider the Ember was here on the map. I'm not sure why the hell he was there, considering he was alone. That's a very rough thing to do, and I'm liking how Titan are playing. They've got Mushi farming top lane. He's almost got his Orchid. Once he's got that, he's going to be aggressive, and Yamaguchi's going to try to deal with him, but this Viper is very, very pushed up, and it would not surprise me to see some rotations. But while you've got Mushi top, you've got KOXY mid, and all the rest of Titan are just taking away the enemy's jungle. All the enemy have to work with space-wise is effectively that. They go past that line, they're going to lose a player or two.
Yeah, they most likely are, I mean. Wow. Now KYXY finishes up a mech as well on the Invoker, so they definitely want to go on the aggressive, just fight, have the burst heal for them. Especially since, well, CNS, they really don't have anything to counter it with. Boxy, Ice Blast usually would be pretty good against mech, but he is more than a level away still from it.
Yes, this is a level 4 Ancient Apparition at 12 minutes. It shows how far behind they are. And now we get another smoke, but what is the goal of this smoke? We've got Stampede being popped by Titan. They're going to look for the Ember, but Ember's just going to Spirit away and dodge. But still, what is the purpose of this smoke? If it's just to get some ward vision up, I'm not sure I like it. And you've got to consider we've got more items coming out of Titan at this point. Medallion for the Enchantress. Force Staff for the Centaur. The big items, the mobility items are coming online for Titan. It's mobility that they will use to get their kills.
Yeah, and this Titan, they're just looking so good. They have such a huge advantage, and I think they want to fight this bottom lane as well. Maybe, just maybe, Ohio.
I get that feeling. I really do get that feeling.
Oh, but the Wolf, it's scouting out Ohio, actually damaging him as well with the right clicks. No? Extinct takes it over. Deafening Blast misses everybody but the creeps. Actually, Yamaguchi got hit, but a low level 1 tower, it's gonna get denied.
Denying against an Exhort Invoker with 2 Forge Spirits on the board, not the easiest thing. And I can understand why Titan did not want to take that fight. If they took that fight head on, they would have to be barreling through the Viper, as well as the Lycan. That's a very unpleasant thing to have to do. But meantime, Mushi going to be poking some good damage into Polo top lane. And you got to consider, Orchid is now finished and flying out here. This is a 14-minute Orchid. That's quite quick, considering Mushi hasn't just been farming. He's been rotating around the map and getting kills as well. But now we're going to get the attack in the jungle. They're going to drop the Mystic Flare. They're going to bring down Heart. He drops his Fisher, but it's not enough. Yamaguchi, I think, will get a counter kill here on WTF, but that's going to be it. Force stuff out by the center. Doesn't want to get caught. And now you've got X going to run away with the Stampede, but the Sunstrike will turn around and they'll get the Ancient Apparition. And now Ohio will come in, drop his Hoof Stomp, and everyone will TP out. No one gets caught by Yamaguchi other than WTF on that Skywrath Mage. And that is about as good as you could hope for. But now we get the Orchid popped on that top lane. Polo having a bit of a problem, getting poked by those searing arrows. Are we going to see the chase here? Polo wants to fight this one, and Mushi's in a lot of trouble. He cannot stand versus these crits. One more swipe with the paw of the Lycan will be more than enough, and it will go down that way. Not a chance for Mushi to escape that one, and that is the threat of the Lycan. He does a large amount of damage. Sunstrike's going to drop, however. It's not going to land on Polo, and Polo should be safe.
Actually, really great presence of mind by Polo there, knowing that Klinks is completely out of mana, so no Skeleton Walk, no nothing to escape. Just pop your ultimate with the Wolves and go for the kill. I mean, I think most players maybe would have just tried to run away from Klinks straight away, but he knew exactly the limits of Klinks. Well, Klinks without mana really isn't all that scary, at least not with those items that he has currently. So, nice counter kill, something that they needed badly at the moment as well, and Lycan is level 11 now. Helping out a little bit, but they just need so much more. They will have Ice Blast available for Boxy as well, so that's a good sign. Mech finished on Yamaguchi's Viper, So they're getting something at the very least at the moment.
They're getting something, yes. They've got the mech, they've got, more importantly, Ice Blast available, and then on top of that, you're seeing the Lycan start to come into his own. Start to. A big stretch before he's fully online, but from where we stand, CNS can recover. I'm not going to count any team out, as you know my style, but a 7k gold lead is recoverable here for Click and Surge. And it's going to get harder now that KYXY has an Aegis, but it's still going to be very rough, and we've got to consider equally experience. You've got a 5k advantage to have Titan, so Click and Search will be fighting from behind, but it is doable.
Yeah, it most certainly is, but actually Polo, he's going for that fighting kind of Lycan build at the moment. He's building an armlet for himself.
An armlet? The armlet actually surprises me. I was not expecting an armlet out of Polo. I mean, sure, it does help you brawl, but Lycan, if you're getting the armlet, his push is going to be weaker, and in all honesty, against the lineup of Titan, wouldn't you want a BKB? But we are going to see it go. That's a big hoof stomp, catches two with the double edge, going to clean up two members of Click and Search immediately. Now Yamaguchi going to be the focus. They will bring down WTF on the Scarlet Mage once again, but that's still a double kill for Mushi. 3 kills total, the way of Click and Search. Could Mushi go down here? No. He should be more than fine. He's just continuing to throw his remnants around, looking for the Centaur, but he won't get him. Do we have a TP? Yes, he does. He can get out of it safely if he wants to, but he just wants to continue farming up. He wants kills, and especially with that DD rune while it was up, he just wanted aggression across the board. From where we sit, this is a good thing for Click and Search to be doing with the Ember, but if they keep losing fights like that, they lost 2 heroes pretty much immediately just to hoof stomp and double edge. It's a rough time for Click and Search. And now you've got to consider Jules taking a lot of damage once more. Mushi does get the good damage on this one, but no, Echo Sun going to come through from heart, keeping Jules alive a little bit longer, and Jules should survive this one, even with the Forge Brutes, even with that Necro Book down. And Mushi, now in a lot of trouble, will be cleaned up by Yamaguchi with that Viper.
Yeah, just hard keeping his teammate alive there. 100% without Geoshaker, Jules would have died on the Ember Spirit. No doubt in my mind at all, but they get the kill onto Glinks in return, so they defend the tower at the same time. Yes, tower dropped down rather low to begin with anyway, but Sunstrike, no kills happening, so I mean CNS, they are holding on, but coming back now to Polo, going for that armlet on the Lycan. How good of an item can it actually be here, and will it be worth the investment?
I'm honestly not sure. I really am not. You've got to consider, against Titan's lineup, a BKB does hit some good notes in my mind. So would, to an extent, a Necro Book, and then you can push towers that little bit quicker. You don't even need to commit the hero, you can just use Howl, Necro Book, and your Wolves. Armlet says you're going to be a little more brawl-oriented, so you want to get in the middle of these fights that little bit more. If you're doing that without a BKB, and so I'm expecting BKB to be the next time after Armlet, you're having to fight into an Invoker who's gone Exhort, so he has the damage potential of a Meteor, he has his Deafening Blast available to him now. You're also fighting into, say, Mystic Flare, Arcane Bolts, if the Skywrath can get the right positioning at the back of a fight. Then again, there is also the Centaur, but Clinks, Mushi will clean up Jules. There's very little Jules can do when that Orchid is popped, and this is what I was on about in the draft. Going Ember versus, say, Clinks is, in my mind, a little bit of a ballsy fight.
Yeah, not only was it just the Clinks, also the Skywrath Mage, so double silence, or double sources of silence at the very least. But they're hunting for more, although they did get spotted out by the Observer Ward together with a sentry. So Mushi, actually, can he get the kill? Boxy, he has himself the dust, will he actually pop the Soul Mushi? Just the right clicks. Orchid comes out, Sunstrike will completely miss, but Soulburn, maybe? No, it's not going to be enough. The last right click. Oh man, the last right click made the difference.
Meantime, in the jungle, you do have the attempt on the Skywrath's life, and that will be more than enough. And now Yamaguchi going to be chasing as well. But at this point, it's not enough. They might be able to bring down Ohio, sure, especially with X here actually. But no, Polo shouldn't be able to catch up with this one, even with that armlet available. He's getting very ballsy, and now we get the turnaround, and there's the damage potential of Impetus. Cannot forget that. That is pure damage. That is going to sting, but no extra kills coming the way of Titan for this. Then again, look at Mushi. Polo could be in some trouble here. He could be in a lot of trouble here, especially with that Orchid ready again. But as we stand right now, in comes the Hoof Stomp onto Ohio. In comes the Orchid as well. Polo could be in a lot of trouble. All it'll take is a few more right clicks, but the armlet toggling to save his life, and we will survive. Last Searing Arrow is not enough. Dust's going to fly coming out of the two heroes of Click and Search, actually. And as we stand, Mushi could be in a lot of trouble, but he should be safe. He still has dust on him for a few more seconds, but no, Yamaguchi's here as well. There's no escaping this now. The sandwich movement is there, and will be cleaned up by Yamaguchi.
Well, I mean, gold-wise, actually, I think CNS lost more than they gained from the kill since they popped double dust as well as double sentry to get that kill. I mean, yes, it's definitely worth it to get a kill on Mushi overall, just stop his item progression a little bit, get some of your own, but a lot of invested nonetheless for that kill, so... Titan, they just made the enemy jungle their own, more or less. They have literally just rooted themselves in, and whenever CNS wants to do something, Titan are there to just try to grab kills.
It's a brilliant way of playing, especially against a Viper, Ember, and Lycan. It's a very greedy tri-core lineup coming out of Click and Search, and you're taking away one of their most valuable resources, the jungle. It's a brilliant move by Titan, and I honestly like this kind of play. Territorial dominance, territorial control.
Yeah, it's pretty damn good, and looking at the item progression as well for them, I guess nothing too big has been picked up. Necro level 3 is there on KYXY, so that's probably the biggest one. 4-star finished on Ohio, as well as Extinct now, flying out to him. Aegis will get reclaimed now, so actually they didn't even need it. But net worth-wise, KYXY, he's just miles ahead of anybody else.
Indeed, this Invoker has gone absolutely nuts in this game. He's got 13k net worth. And honestly, I don't see him falling in these fights anymore. He's just too damn tanky. And you've got to consider they used the Ice Blast, they couldn't clean up the Creep Wave or the Necrobook units. And as we stand, this is going to be very big. Here comes the initiation. They're going to go straight on Yamaguchi, who ate that Soul Burn off the Necrobook, and he cannot stand against that. That's a wicked sick for KYXY.
Yeah, that was a little bit too ballsy by the Viper going for a kill like that, but Polo, he's split pushing in the meantime. KYXY, he TPs in, Ice Wall down, just to slow down the bush, and it's gonna be enough so the Polo will just farm up the jungle instead, going for a BKB now. I mean, he just really wants to stay in the fight, but I'm not too sure if just a Lycan solo carry will cut it, because Jules is not getting much of anything, doesn't even have the first Battle Fury, still not even halfway through, more or less. As well as Viper, well, he has the mech, but that really doesn't boost your damage output all that much.
No, it really doesn't. They need, in my mind, for Yamaguchi, a pipe. They're going to have to run the Viper like a utility hero. He does his damage to his skills and just persisting on the battlefield. He needs to tank up. That'll also help his team with that pipe shield of 400 extra magic damage. That will certainly help things out. They're going to have to rely on Jules to try to pick up his farm, but a very hard thing. And now we get the attempt to jump in, but they mistimes the hoof stomp. Ohio can't land it.
I mean, really nice attempt, though, just trying to get the perfect timing when the Sleight of Fist ends is always going to be hard. And he was literally just a split second off.
Yeah, it was. It's a very hard one to judge, considering. It's very hard to catch that Ember Spirit without a silence. But you mentioned they've also got the Lycan to help carry them through. Lycan can carry, yes. I'm not going to contest that, but this is still going to be rough in my mind going into the mid to late game. We're getting to that point where we're getting to the peak of the mid-game play, and sure, you have a Lycan, sure, you have the Ember. You're falling off rapidly. We look at the gold graph right now. It's a 12,000 gold lead the way of Titan. You've got KYXY, has Necrobook, now a BKB on that Invoker, as well as the mechanism. This is a very rich Invoker. Then you've got to also consider they have the physical damage coming out of Mushi, who's almost got his BKB finished. And equally, they have the burst damage potential from Ohio, going to get the kill, however, tries to force stuff Ohio over the top so he can't get the kill, but Sunstrike will clean up that Ancient Apparition who was trying to ward. And now you get the attempt coming in from Mushi, looking to bring down Jules. The mech will pop, and now comes the potential to turn around. Stampede's going to go, but Mushi did get caught by the dust, and everyone's going to try to evac this one. Polo pops his BKB. He wants to stand and fight. He wants to claw and chew through Mushi, but there is no hope to catch Mushi. He is just far too quick at this point. And this is the thing about the Lycan. Sure, you have speed, but you can't slow down the enemy. Sure, they'll catch WTF on the back foot, but Polo spent a lot of time chasing Mushi for no gain.
Yeah, I was expecting, or half expecting at the very least, for him to turn on the Skyriff Mage immediately in KYXY. Does get hit by the Ice Blast, takes almost no damage. The Fisher is there on the wrong side, unfortunately, and he just BKB TPs out.
Yeah, he's...
Oh, what?
Ow, he still got killed by the burst damage coming out of the Lycan. The Ice Blast still persists through the BKB, so I believe the kill threshold still applies. So A big kill there going the way of Titan. A big kill going the way of Click and Search. A kill that they should not have got by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, I mean, I was so sure BKB TP out is going to be a success, but I mean, Lycan, he's hitting pretty damn hard. With the Darmlet activated, he's hitting for more than 300 damage actually. Suddenly, Earthshaker has a Blink Dagger for himself. Although up against the BKBs on Klinks as well as the Invoker, might or might not do enough here, but they are taking steps in the right direction.
I would completely agree, and you can see they're having to drop sentries in the mid lane. Their career almost died to Lycan Wolves. I will give credit where credit is due. Polo is being an asshole with those Wolves, and it's brilliant to see the play.
Yeah, it's always nice if you're actually microing the Wolves as well. I mean, he definitely doesn't need any help by them to just farm or clear up the jungle at the moment, so just have the Wolves, maybe find somebody, move, command him just to follow that hero around. But at the moment, I mean, Titan, they are definitely very much so in the lead of this game, especially them being on the dire side, having the dire side advantage, so every Roshan should be theirs, unless they get the stun onto Mushi. They follow up the Echo Slam, spent for Ice Blast to fly, and well, they did commit 2 ultimates, but Ice Blast is gonna come off cooldown soon enough, and it's definitely worth using the Echo Slam to just kill off such a high priority target.
Indeed, Mushi has done a lot this game, and that does take the Orchid potential out of the next fight unless Mushi buys back. So that's 1 silence less, as well as the physical damage, which is what Ember hates. So it's Roshan time here for Click and Search, but is this really the wise thing? Look at the turnaround potential coming out of Titan. The Fish is going to block them and delay them for some time, but can they finish off the Roshan in time? I don't think they can. And now this could be an absolute disaster. You've got to consider, but now comes the fight. KYXY is going to be the focus. The pipe's going to pop. Everything's going to pop. BKB's across the board. Can they bring anyone down? Extinct's going to be the focus for Polo here, but Extinct just heals up too quickly. Sure, these crits hit for just under 500, but they can't get any kills, not off the back of that alone, and now Yamaguchi could be in trouble. They get the 4-star forward, they're going to look to bring down the Viper. They drop the Mystic Flare, they drop the Double Edge, the stuns, everything, and they do finish it off with the Deafening Blast. So KYXY will pick up the kill on the Viper, but Roshan coming out of Click and Search, that was a very ballsy play, and I'm not sure I agree with it.
Yeah, it's that was definitely way too ballsy. Maybe if they would have gotten like 1 more pickup potentially onto Invoker, and at the moment as well, they tried to go for the initiation, but Stampede completely screwed it over for them. And like you said, like a couple fights ago, a small skirmish that happened previously, the Lycan, yes, he is fast himself, but he can't slow down the targets. So they just keep kiting him around with the 4 stabs, with the Stampede. So Polo, he needs himself a basher, but he's going for an AC by the looks of it instead at the moment. So
a basher would be good. I will equally say pretty much anything would be good here to get slows. A Sanj would be good. A Sanj and the Asher would be good. Equally, in my mind, just to stay on target, an Atos would be worth it. Of course, not the item you really want. They need just something on the Lycan now, lock targets down though. Abyssal Blade is the ideal.
yeah, it's just not looking good for CNS. They do have the first Battle Fury finished finally onto Jules 28 minutes in. Yamaguchi had the pipe before that fight already. They will not get the deny on the tower, just too hard against Necro level 3s and 4 spirits. But they are getting some items. Oh, with the Fisher, stopping KYXY's TP. Getting something, I mean.
They can't risk going forward for it though, because look on the high ground, you've got Ohio and WTF just waiting to go on the unfortunate hero that tries to kill KYXY. It is good positioning coming out of Titan to protect the team. Now with the aggressive blink, Sunstrike's going to drop. They're going to try to bring down Yamaguchi and will successfully do so. Surely one more right click will be enough. No, he actually survives this, and now comes the turnaround. Polo wants to charge down and kill KOXway. He's going to be the first target, but equally Mushi comes in trying to get some damage. Echo Slam's going to go though. The BKB is not enough for Mushi, and he will fall to the sheer damage right click of Polo. And two more right clicks will be the end of KOXY as well. But it is, of course, the Aegis. Wolves are going to come in. They're going to try to block this Invoker in, and good positioning with the Wolves, but Tornado's going to put the Wolf in the air long enough for him to escape. The dust will, however, fly from Bugsy, and they should be able to bring down KYXY a second time. Unstoppable spree for Polo.
What a fight that was. Mushi, he went in a little bit too deep there, thought that he's invincible in his BKB, but he stood there, stood his ground, trying to right-click, but of course that means that Lycan, he can just right-click away freely himself, and he definitely does more damage than Klinks at the moment, especially with his Wolves out helping with the damage. Level maxed out Howl, boosting up everybody, especially the Ember Spirit's physical damage. So Titan, they got a little bit too complacent with their lead at the moment and with the way things had been going previously, and they're even gonna lose a tier 2 because of this.
I suppose this comes back to rule 1 that I do like to mention on occasion. Never underestimate your opponent. Click and Search can quite easily fight back into one. Sure, it's a 14,000 gold lead for Titan. If they keep taking fights like this, Click and Surge can easily ruin Titan's day.
Oh, Jules? Yeah, he should be fine with the Invis rune. Still actually taking a lot of damage even before the Invis actually activates. But... wow, Jules, do you think he needs a BKB? I mean, he has himself a Mirfil Hammer, so might be a BKB, might be a Desolator. Which one do you think would be the wisest choice here?
A BKB does ring true to a lot of things. I mean, it will help him evade the stuns. The early bot lane, we do get another go on to Yamaguchi, and he's not having the best time on that Viper. But you got to consider it'll get Jules out of all the stuns. Yeah, it sounds like a wise choice here for a BKB. But now they're stalking Mushi. Could they potentially go for the kill here? Ice Blast will drop. Could they get the turnaround? Yes, they damn well can. This should be more than enough, and Mushi will fall. Jules picks up the kill.
That was some really sneaky plays. I mean, he'd been keeping dabs on Mushi ever since Mushi actually initiated the Jules himself. So, Invis rune, it lasts a minute. So, it was plenty of time for the Ice Blast to cool off and them to set up the kill. Mushi, he had no idea what was waiting for him. I mean, I guess he was 100% sure that with the low HP that Jules got away with, that he's going to go back to base and regen up. But just some ballsy plays. And Jules actually now even split pushing a little bit here. Just pushing out the lanes. Might be in some trouble if Ohio catches him though, but nope, Remnant TP, he's safe.
Yep, very safe. Ohio and WTF were rotating in looking for a kind of counter kill, but they're not going to find anything. They're going to have to deal with the creep wave, and it is a good amount of split push now starting to come up at Click and Search, and you have to consider you do have things like the Ember Spirit, who's got his first Battle Fury, getting that BKB. You've got the Lycan, who's certainly coming online, going most likely for an AC here into a Basher after that, and that's going to help out. Equally, though, you have Ice Blast. It's doing a good amount of work now. It's level 2, and most importantly, you have Blink Echo Slam online for CNS. Their best defensive spell, their best defensive hero, ready to defend their towers. This is going to be very rough here for the next few minutes for Titan.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely lost their momentum. I mean, they still have about a 12,000 gold lead, so it's pretty good. XP dropped down by about 4,000 or so almost. So up to 5,000 now. I mean, they still can wait for Roshan, just take next Aegis as well as a Cheese as Mushi. He's gonna find Jules again. No Invis rune this time around. Can he get the kill, the soul burn? Oh, actually a few more right clicks now he gets away safely. He has become tanky enough, and of course he's fast enough with just face puts, pop the drums, and try to outrun Mushi.
All it'll take though is Mushi finishing his Crystallis for him to not be able to tank that up anymore. And well, he has enough money to finish that Crystallis right the hell now. He's actually got it, and he's going to fly out to him immediately. And now you've got to deal with Mushi who can crit. This is going to hurt. I mean, I was honestly expecting potential for either an MKB or a Butterfly, but it seems straight crit is on the menu here for Mushi. And this is going to be scary. By all means, this is going to be scary. I mean, Clinks, if you can get on him and kill him, sure, that's fine, that's golden. If he can freely crit and just range harass your heroes, do you really want to be on the receiving end of that, Couch?
100% no. 150% maybe even. That's just too painful to take no matter what hero you are almost. But of course, the same can happen that happened in the mid lane push last time around, where Clinks, he's trying to just stand his ground and right click, whereas Lycan is just eating him up in the meantime.
Sure, the tankier heroes of Click and Search can stand up to Mushi even if he has that Crystallis, but this is the worry for me now. You've got to consider the Lycan. He still doesn't have that AC. He actually has... Ooh, yes, he does have enough to finish it up immediately, but he's holding for buyback. And AC can certainly help. If we do a quick little look over at, as we see, mid lane, this could be a big problem for Jules. He could go down here. The Ice Cold Snap even didn't land, unfortunately, for KYX, where it hit a creep instead. So we're not going to be able to bring down the Ember Spirit off the back of this one. But if we look at the quick armor of the heroes on Titan, Clinks, he's got 12 armor. Enchantress, she's got 11. Invoker actually quite high on armor right now, but then again he is fully into Wex at this point, and he's doing fairly well for himself, up at over 20 armor. On the Skywrath Mage though, 2 armor, and the Centaur equally only 11. But now we're seeing the initiation. They're going to look for KYX one. In comes the Lycan. There was good damage across the board. Meteor combo drops, but not enough damage yet to get a kill. Yamaguchi will most likely be the first target, but no, Lycan manages to chew apart the Enchantress first. And Yamaguchi should be safe at least for a few seconds, but in comes the Blink, the Hoof Stomp. It's going to be enough to finish off Yamaguchi, and Hart is in the meantime stuck in the jungle, but they lose the Ancient Apparition for their efforts. And Hart's going to have to blink out there. He does not want to get caught, and he should be safe. Or is he? He's going to be... Yeah, he manages to TP out safely off the back of that. global spells going across the map, but it does not matter at this point. Mushi manages to force it back, and it's a fairly even trade, an Ancient Apparition for and a Viper for an Invoker and an Enchantress.
Yeah, it actually was, and all in all, when it's an even trade, it probably, or most usually, favors the team who is actually behind, so it creates more time, more space for them to farm up. And this Lycan, man, if he can actually right-click, he hurts a crap ton. He just chews through heroes and Jules, or Mushi actually. He finds Jules. He's going for the kill. I mean, Jules has a BKB, so he should be fine if he can't outrun him. Yeah, BKB, Remnant out, and run away.
Indeed, he doesn't really want to risk standing and fighting versus Mushi when he's got Crystallis, and do you blame him? But as you were saying, that Lycan does do a ferocious amount of right-click right now. Up at 6k gold, we get the Blink Initiation from Ohio onto Polo. Can you really go up against this, Ohio? That's a very risky thing. Sure, you got a heart now, but that's a solo Centaur now up against a Lycan with his Metamorphosis ultimate activated. And BKB force, now we could see a bit of a fight here. Ohio could be in some trouble, but this is that problem once again. Polo has no way of slowing down a target. Now BKB's popped by Ohio and comes to turnaround. KYXY just comes in, gets the extra damage onto the Lycan, and he just cannot stand against this one. Jules is now the only real source of physical damage. Sure, you got the Viper, but he is that utility role Viper right now. And where is the next fight going to take off?
I mean, looks like they might want to go in straight away if they get the stun on KYXY, but everybody has BKBs, the stun is there. If they can just force a BKB on KYXY, it could be a small victory, but look at Mushi, is coming in from behind. Oh man, this can be huge.
This could be huge, and that ward didn't reveal it. They didn't see him coming. He went across that one. There was no creep wave, and now we get the hoof stomp initiation. Ohio will get the stun, but look at how much damage Mushi is doing. He is raining death into CNS, and they'll pick up 2, make that 3. Heart goes down. Now the Tornado's going to fly. It does manage to catch the Ember Spirit. He's not going to be able to escape this one, I don't think. He's going to use his BKB. Buys him some time, but Mushi's on his heels, fast on his heels, and if they can finish off the Ember, but no, he's going to pop back. He doesn't want to risk getting caught, and he's going to TP out safely. But while this is going on, this is a 4-hero kill advantage, and Titan are just going to waylay on the tower. No chance of defending this one.
Yeah, that was just a series of unfortunate events for CNS as well as slight mistakes. First of all, Lycan should not have chased Ohio, who has a heart like this.
Backdoor regen, holy hell. They're going to go in further. Jules gets caught out of position though with the hoof stomp, with that stampede, and there's no hope for the Ember to escape this one. They're going to throw the AI Ice Blast in that one, and the backdoor regen just kept that tower completely alive. I thought that was disabled. I could swear I saw a dire creep.
Oh wow, well, at least they don't lose their axe at the moment, although CNS they do lose a lot overall. I mean, they lost all of their heroes across the span of like a minute and a half maybe. Polo, he needn't have chased it, but now finally actually finished up the AC so that he has buyback on top of it. So that will help out in the next fights for sure. But they cannot get caught off guard when they don't have BKBs anymore. Last time Polo, he used the BKB purely to try to chase a Centaur, which just ended up doing nothing at all. And once the BKB ended, Invoker arrived, Deafening Blast, and Polo just went down, so they have to play without any mistakes at the moment, CNS, with the way just Titan is ahead. Whereas Titan, they have room for a couple of mistakes still.
I would agree, yes. And one thing I will point out with the little brawl between the Centaur and the Lycan, I don't think KYXY needed to show up in the fight. If that was a one-on-one fight, the Centaur would have won. That Centaur has heart.
Well, maybe, just maybe. Well, with Lycan with his shapeshift activated, probably he will win the one-on-one. But the heart, if the Centaur gets some armor now as well, he's just gonna be fine. Maybe get an AC for themselves, for their team, maybe get a Shiva's card. If he has that extra armor to just mitigate physical damage, he's gonna be just fine tanking up everything.
Even with his Metamorphosis form, no, he couldn't bring down the Centaur. Centaur would just kite him out while the Metamorphosis is activated and then turn around once it ends. But from where we stand, that is an Aegis the way of Titan, and now we could be looking for that tier 3 push, especially off the back of Roshan here.
Yeah, it's certainly looking like they want to do that. No Necro level 3s, though they will expire, but Shiva's card is picked up on Ohio now, so that's where the armor will come from. And Mushi, in the meantime, just... Never mind, I thought he's actually going to split push mid lane. Might still do it, but he's in his invis. He has a gem as well. Takes some damage from the Sleight of Fist, but he still has his Death Pact, which he uses now.
He should be okay in the mid lane, unless he gets caught by a stun or a silence. In all honesty, we now have 2 Shiva's guards available for Titan. they're going to have some extra burst damage available to them, and this could be very rough. They get the Hoof Stomp initiation, but the BKB from Yamaguchi buys him some time. The Meteor combo will drop, and Hart's forced out of the fight, but he can now come back in with that Blink Dagger, and now you've got Polo just chewing apart KOX. Long range Ice Blast going to land on no one, unfortunately, but Mushi will be the first target. They force the Aegis. Can they get anything else off the back of this one? Metamorphosis will be ending soon, and this could be advantage to have Titan off the back of that one, but in comes the Echo Slam. Silence on Hart, though. He doesn't manage to get a full combo, and Mushi could go down a second time. Yes, he will. Gem on the deck. Equally, Jules manages to pick up the double, bringing down the Centaur. Also had the Enchantress fall, and now they could be looking for more. Centaur didn't die. Sorry, that was the Enchantress I saw. And in comes the Shiva's Guard, buying Ohio some time. But can they get on target? Can they keep on him? I don't think they can. The EMP will drain all of the mana away from Click and Search, and the rest of Titan should be safe.
Yeah, but still 3 kills. Rack still intact, actually, very much so. The tier 3 tower only down to half HP. And look at the top lane. The lane is pushing itself in by Click and Search as well. Yet another creep wave is gonna arrive. So, building damage wise, it's gonna be more or less equal. So, Titan, they kind of underestimated CNS. And I do believe Jules, he got some pretty huge crits there with his Crystallis being finished as well onto the 3 heroes there. Since suddenly looked like everybody dropped so low with like one sleight of fist.
Indeed, the crits are really starting to pay off here, and you got to consider the damage potential of a late game Ember. If this goes late, and I stress late, advantage CNS, they're running a Tricore greedy lineup, and Jules has had time to fight his way back into this one. Sure, he's still 4th on the net worth, but 16,000 net worth on an Ember is enough to survive and deal a good amount of damage in these fights, and he's really just looking for a Daedalus now. He's desperately trying to farm that one up, and will have it in a very short order as well.
Yeah, it's looking pretty damn good, and if he just actually keeps applying pressure to the top lane here as well, maybe make it so that the next time also Titan loses some nice building damage. Ice Blast actually flying. Do they really want to set up the kill? I mean, KOX has the BKB still.
No, they're not going to initiate off the back of that one. Jules knows that he is not that tanky, especially considering there are enough silences on the side of Titan to ruin his day, specifically WTF. I mean, we haven't really spoken much about the Skywrath Mage in this game, but 4-6-11 Skywrath Mage has a Ghost Scepter as well as a 4-star, building now for an Atos. He's doing fairly well for himself, but now could be the death of Jules. He does get caught by the Cold Snap, but he will manage to get the Remnant off before he's hit with the Ancient Seal, and should be all safe.
Yeah, Mushi was trying to come in as well, but couldn't quite get in range, and actually, the funny thing is that there is one hero who hasn't died yet, and it's the Centaur, the hero that just initiates and goes into the middle of everybody and everything, but he has yet to die in this game.
He's done very well for himself. He's got Blink, Force, BKB, Heart, Shivas. He's pretty much max 6 slot at this point. The only thing he wants to do maybe is get some travels or treads, just so he can tank up that little bit more. As we stand, this Centaur from Ohio has been the linchpin, in all honesty, for Titan. He has been making things happen. He has been the one setting up and getting these kills.
Yeah, and speaking of setting up kills, they want to go for Mushi. Do they actually have vision? They run almost just past him. Oh man, how unfortunate was that? But Jules, KYXY, they are battling it out a little bit. Tornado will miss, unfortunately, so Ember Spirit is going to be fine. But, oh, the Fisher WTF got the 4-step before and the TP's out.
It was a nice try to catch WTF, but Hart couldn't land on the right side, unfortunately. But from where we stand, I will mention there is a gem up for the Ancient Apparition, and Polo now has his Basher as well as an AC. We're only a short distance away from that full. As we get the initiation on Mushi, stun comes through, Ice Blast as well. Mushi will take a fall, but we're only a matter of time away from that full Abyssal Blade. And once we have the Abyssal Blade, this is going to be very scary. Very, very scary.
Yeah, it most certainly is, and I want to see CNS at least try to push out the lanes. Yes, it's scary since you might get picked off at a moment's notice by the heroes the Titan has, but you need to push out the lanes just to make sure that actually Yamaguchi BKB activated. He has to turn around on KYX, so he will get some slows. I mean, the Meteor would have done so much damage without the bypass BKB, but CNS, I think they really can't allow themselves to give away another Roshan to Titan with the cheese and the Aegis.
I would be inclined to agree with you. If Titan can get an Aegis, they can do a lot of work. But the problem is here, we're getting to the point where CNS are coming into their own. I will point out we're at 45 minutes and you're against a tri-core lineup when you're running Centaur, then Invoker and Clinks as your core. Centaur falls off late game, sure, he does a good amount of damage with return. He has the double-edged potential of burst damage, but that has its limit.
Yeah, it certainly does, but I mean, having a Hex by Invoker now, Heaven's Albert finished on Extinct as well. With Lycan's BKB only being down to 4 seconds, actually might be in trouble. He pops his ultimate, so Hex does nothing at all to him. But Heaven's Albert will actually probably be a pretty great tool to try to deal with Polo here. Just 4-second BKB might not be enough.
I would completely agree. Heaven's Albert is a very good item choice. It'll also let her tank up a bit. I mean, we don't see any MKBs for the side of Click and Search, so it's a really good item for Extinct. But this is one thing that does sit in my head. This really does cause disparity for me. You've got Mushi who's looking to stalk Jules, and if he can bring Jules down, that's going to be golden. But you equally have KYXY nearby. Mushi could get the kill here, but they need to lock down Jules long enough. And his BKB is available, so they're going to drop the Hex. Meteor comes down as well. That's going to be more than enough. And this is where Titan's lineup still works. They can roam, they can gank, they can get pickoffs. But they need some objectives off the back of these pickups.
The Ember Spirit just purchased the ultimate orb towards his Eye of the Sky before he died there. I'm not too sure if he actually purchased it when the initiation happened or he did it before, but not having a buyback is a scary thing. Thank God that the Roshan isn't up at this point in time, or that the lanes were pushed out rather far, so that Titan actually can capitalize on this. I mean, Titan, they don't know probably whether he has buyback or not, but I don't think they will even reach a point where they could just force a buyback even if he did have one.
They could force the buyback, but honestly, they've only got 40 seconds left. They could get some damage on the tier 3s. I don't think it'd be enough. I mean, they still have to fight through the Lycan. And from where we stand right now, we're 47 minutes in, and this was a 15k lead for Titan if we consider that 10 to 12 minutes ago. It's still at 15k. They have stalled. Titan are running out of steam slowly. Sure, they're by no means out of this game. I'm not going to say they are by any stretch of the imagination, but from where we stand, Click and Search are holding their own right now. The Tricore is starting to turn this around, and Mushi going to come in for some damage on the tower, but in comes Polo. He wants to try to get something, but nope. Blinks just wants to be the rat in this case. Poke and prod, distract, force the Metamorphosis, and now Titan can take a team fight with no Metamorphosis available for the Lycan. That is pretty much what Mushi wanted to do, and that might be objective complete there for him. So they could be looking for a fight on this top lane. It's going to be down to Heart to hit that good Echo Slam, though. He needs to hit a near-perfect one.
Yeah, and actually Ember Spirit finishes up his Eye of Sky as well before the fight. Actually, I mean, the slow is pretty damn sick with the Sleight of Fist. It's a really good item on Ember Spirits, to be honest. Some players even like to just rush it as the first big item for their team. But choose, oh, he gets hexed, he cannot die, he doesn't have buyback, they need something to save him. The 4 steps, they will be enough. Now Polo, he comes back in with another shapeshift, Ice Blast to fly, how many will it connect on? The 4 step, actually none. Oh, yeah, never mind, he did get hit just into the back, but all of them, they're just kiting around. Fisher doesn't land on anybody now. Heart, he's silenced up, he overextended a little bit, WTF, Ghost Scepter is still alive, but if only a few right clicks, man, that's all they need. But Heart going to get Sculptor snapped up. Oh yeah, nice double man hoofstomp, double ace to get that one kill. They need a little bit more though. CNS, they are still going strong. Oh yeah, gonna get stunned up by the Basher. They need it. They need something with Polo out of mana on the run from Impetus. But Jules, he joins the fight. He still has the Eye of Sky, but he's gonna get hexed up. Oh man, can they really get the kill? Shiva's guard to slow him down. No, BKB activated, Sleight of Fist to slow everybody down. WTF somehow still alive as Ohio came in with another stun. Yamaguchi going low together with Jules. Ice Blast connects on 2. They need to get the kills. Jules, he gets one, but can he get more?
Yes, he can. Triple kill out to try to clean this one up. Now KYXI is on the way to retreat. He's got his Ghost Walk up, and it's a buyback and a cancel of the TP in by the center. He doesn't want to hang around, and that Ice Blast coming out of the Ancient Apparition turned that fight completely. But in comes the Cold Snap once more. They're going to look for Yamaguchi now, and they will successfully do so, especially with Muchi there. But just look at the damage coming out of that Lycan. He almost shredded Mushi, and honestly, it would not surprise me to see an Ice Blast throw through in about 8 seconds' time. And this is all of Titan on the retreat here. That was a very back and forth fight. There were some key points I'll throw out there. The kill on the Earthshaker before he could get his ultimate, before he could get any good spells off. That was huge. The second thing that was very big for Titan, it was the EMP that dropped out of KYXY. That EMP drained everyone's mana to near nil. It stopped Polo casting any more spells. It stopped him being able to howl. That's how little mana he had. And it was all going smoothly until that Ember Spirit coming out of Jules managed to get that final Remnant and Sleight of Fist off, which picked up that triple. That triple kill was the biggest thing in that fight, and it turned everything. It stopped all the aggression out of Titan, forced a buyback included, and then forced to disengage.
Yeah, it was a pretty damn excellent base defense by CNS coming out there. Of course, they did lose the range rush bottom lane, but since the melee barracks stand, they are reaching up. But Titan, they got themselves another Aegis, another cheese here as well. They had a double damage on Clinks just to speed up the process. But Abyssal Blade also finished on Lycan. They don't really even care too much about buyback since they know that if Lycan dies, without Shapeshift, he can't really be a threat at all. I mean, he almost threaded through Mushi in the last fight or by the end of it. But since his Shapeshift ended, had it just lasted for like 1 second longer, we would have been able to chase him down. But no Shapeshift, Shiva's cards to just kite people around, and they just need to win the fight within that 18 seconds of the Shapeshift.
I'm unsure they even need to do that now. Now, again, I'll mention it, the Tricore lineup is starting to come into its own. Their cores are getting the farm. That is the biggest thing. Now they're just going to have to TP to force Mushi back. Mushi's just being a pest again. But from where we sit, let's take a look at this. Ember Spirit, he had his Skadi, now has a Daedalus on top of that cleave. That's a pretty damn farmed Ember Spirit, no matter how we look at it, and the Skadi's going to be pretty damn huge. You've also got the Lycan, with that Abyssal Blade you mentioned finished. Again, big item up, it's probably the biggest item in this game, potentially, being able to lock down those BKB targets. And most importantly, on top of all of this, they'll have the Echo Slam, and hopefully we'll see Heart be able to get off a good Echo in this game. But Mushi is back, and he is continuing just deal with towers. Fisher going to drop, but Mushi pops his BKB. He will clean up the T3, sure, but Mushi should be safe. In the meantime, mid lane, the Meteor drops. They managed to clean up the Lycan. That's a pretty big kill. Everyone retreated to deal with Mushi, and KOXY just saw an opportunity, being able to kill off that Lycanthrope in a few seconds flat. Now we get the initiation, looking for Yamaguchi. Viper Strike will drop onto Ohio. But can we see anything off the back of this one? Ohio won't be able to get anything, but in comes a double Meteor out of KYXY. Ice Path as well. They're both inside it. They're going to have a very rough time escaping this one. And Yamaguchi could be in a lot of trouble. EMP will drop. That'll drain his mana completely, but they can't get anything off the back of it. In the meantime, though, Jules comes in. BKB active, looking for WTF. All it'll take is one more Sleight of Fist, though. Can he finish it off? Yes, he damn well can. Managing to get the dominating spree, but where is the rest of the team? CNS, Hart manages to get himself hexed up, and now off the back of this one, in comes the Skadi, as well as in comes Ohio. They want to kill the Earthshaker again, and he gets brought down. Not a chance for him to escape this one. And as we stand for Titan, 2 good kills. The Lycan being the biggest, and being able to bring down the Earthshaker before it can have any impact on these fights once again is a big problem. But this is going to be a full lane of bottom racks, and with those top racks exposed by Mushi as well, everyone on CNS needs to be on the ball with defending their structures. Yamaguchi's going to come in with that Ember Spirit, look to try to defend this one, but the racks are already gone. They can't risk it. It's a rough game here. They're going for the Hex. They're going to go for more. In comes the EMP, the Tornado. They want to bring down Yamaguchi once more. They're not going to be able to do much apart from drain his mana, but top lane, Mushi forced the BKB and running away. He doesn't want to get caught, and they lost the top racks as well. This is perfect coming out of Titan. They got 2 lanes of racks. They're keeping the enemies split, distracted. And now they're going to look for Mushi a second time. He's come back with that Aegis, and can he escape this one? I don't think he can. They have that gem, I believe, and Mushi will take a second fall. But equally, mid lane, the tower's at half health. Now in comes the Lycan. Wants to get the Abyssal Blade, does get it on Extinct, and he could go down here. A couple more right clicks on him. Ohio going to be forced to TP out as well. Doesn't want to risk hanging around, and the Enchantress will finally fall. Now they're looking for KYXY. Tornado to fly. Ghost Walk, however, he should be safe. But pings go out. They may chase this. They do have that gem, but they're not going to be able to get on top of him in time.
Man, what a long, just weird engagement this was, starting with the kill onto the Lycan. So it lasted like a minute and a half at the very least, but Clinks, it actually doesn't have buyback. Ohio trying to split push at the moment, and the way Lycan actually got caught is everybody started TPing to stop Mushi, including Polo there. But KYXY with his Ghost Walk, he waited until the last millisecond to actually go for the Cold Snap to stop the TP from Lycan, just to ensure that everybody else was far enough by that time. And KYXY, I mean, once he picked up the Hex, he's been just creating so much space across the map. But man, CNS, are they really going for the GG push here?
They are, and they want to get it, but they forced the BKB out KOXY, and now we could have a brawl going. KOXY wants to do some damage, but under these BKBs he can't do anything, and it's going to be a case of they're just going to go for the tier 3. If they can get the racks, sure, it'll be nice. But while this is going on, they've lost a tier 4 in the base. Ohio is just going for the trade, and from where we stand, this could be huge. But in comes the Ice Path. They finally get a good Echo Slam from Hart, and they're going to try to bring that W2F successfully as well. But Polo will most likely take the fall. He did get hexed up and will go down. Now we get the Tornado, the EMPs. They're being popped. In comes a big Shivas as well. KYXY is doing a lot of damage here. He manages to get Hart with one more right click, but Bogsy will be able to finish him off. But still, you've got Extinct in the base, and he wants to try to bring down Bugsy. Will manage to do so. Ohio comes in as well, manages to finish off Jules, and in the meantime, the Ancient is exposed. The creeps are doing good work to it, and this could be the last hurrah here. Buyback from the Emissary to try to hold this, but this is still very, very rough.
Yeah, the Lycan, he actually die-backed. He bought back, Puzo travels into the enemy base and died there. So that might have been just it for them at the moment. Viper has buyback, but Ember Spirit together for Viper, will they be enough to just withstand 4 Heroes of Titan? Especially since Titan, they only need to bring down just a Rax and a half, even less since ranged barracks are only down to 200 HP.
You've got to consider the bigger picture here. Buybacks, who has a buyback for the Radiant side? Only the Viper. And now they're just going to bring down Jules. They don't even need to go for the Rax. They can just go for the throne at this point, and that's going to be GG. And this isn't a best of one, guys. There's a second game to come up, so we get to see these teams go at it all over again.
I mean, all things considered, I think Click and Thirsty played pretty damn well. Just, they were at a deficit for the majority of the game, pretty much. From the get-go, almost, with the nice Enchantress early rotations, but they hung on for some pretty long time, even gave us a small base races of sorts in the end, but Titan, they were just a little bit too coordinated by the end.
What really set it up for Titan was their early game. They controlled the early game so well, and they just had the momentum off the back of that one. It was a very well-played game by Titan, and I look forward, honestly, to game number 2.
Yes, as am I, Blackadder. But guys, that's exactly where we are heading now, into game number 2. Thank you so much for actually tuning in and watching us, supporting us, as well as the Mineski Pro Gaming League. But we have lots of more Dota to come. Even after the second game of this, we will have 2 more series with Awake, Click and Search, as well as Insidious Idols. So guys, stick around, follow us if you liked us. All the necessary links are below the stream, and see you in game number 2.